Hey darlings, today I want to talk about moving into an established household. So this could work for poly people or even monogamous people. But if you're moving into a place where people have lived for a while, it can be a little challenging. So I think one of the things is just not knowing how things work. Like when you have your own space, you have different systems in place for how you do dishes, how you do laundry, how you clean, and just where you put things. And so it took me a while to figure out like where does everything go? How do I do this? So luckily my partners Ronnie and Five are fairly laid back and are just like, yeah, if you want to organize stuff, go for it. And so I think within the first week I was there, I went through practically the entire kitchen to figure out where everything goes and trying to kind of put things wherever, and just so there's like, you know, a nice counter space, and just so it's like organized and pleasing, because like mess stresses me out. I can't do it and then I lose things super easily if things are like, you know, more chaotic. So that's been interesting, just trying to figure that out. And then like laundry, I still don't really know how laundry works. Like I asked Five, I'm like, what? Meh? And they're like, oh, here's the baskets, and we do laundry sometimes, and then we put it away. I'm like, I still don't know. I need the specifics because I want to be able to help. So that's been interesting. And then also I'm more used to having more of my space, and so there's not really like a space that's just mine. So that's been an adjustment because, you know, I had lived alone for a few weeks and I had gotten a little bit more used to it. It was hard at first, but then it was kind of still lonely, but nice just to have that quiet peacefulness, have my space. But we now do, like Ronnie is working really hard on making a space in the basement that's just very zen, very peaceful, like a no kids zone, so there aren't going to be like toys or random chaos going on. So that'll be nice. And then the other things are just like the stress level. So anytime something's changing your living space can be stressful. But at the same time, like Ronnie was going through something really big, and then their autistic kid was going through a change. And so it was just a lot of newness happening. And so everything was kind of this big ball of stress. And so I have two dogs. I have an Italian Greyhound Chihuahua mix that's 14 and a half. And he's crabby and has no teeth and he's weird. And a Texas Healer that's just nonstop energy. And then they have like a lab that's a little over a year. And like a little Shih Tzu mix that like just turned a year or so. And so just them all figuring everyone out, because Turnip, the gray overlord, like God help any dog who even looks at him. Like he is a crabby little dude. But it's funny, like he can pay attention to other dogs all he wants, and sometimes it's an awkward amount of attention, like a sexual amount of attention that he has towards their lab. It's pretty inappropriate. But if the lab even like glances at him, he's like, ah! So that's been fun, but it's better. And then also my dog Matilda, the Texas Healer, loves Five like more than anything, like more than life itself. And I think she's really stressed at night that she can't cuddle with him, because usually he's flanked by Ronnie and me. And so sometimes Matilda just paces at night and I hear her just like clicking. And I'm just like, go to bed. And then also their lab likes to snore sometimes. And there have been nights where I'm just like, I need to sleep, but I can't because this dog is so loud. But it's been better. Like the last few nights have definitely been easier. I've slept better, slept harder. And so it feels like a lot of the stress levels are just starting to come down. And so that's really nice. But one of the interesting things too is that like wording, I feel like is so important. And I need to learn to ask for what I want, maybe more specifically, because Five had at one point it said, oh, I'm worried about just all of the stuff that's ours that's stressful is going to really get to you and be too much because it's not your thing, like the kids and all of that. And I was like, yo, like, if you appreciate me, like, I'm an appreciation junkie, do that and I will be fine. And so, like, a couple times he had kind of said, like, oh, thanks for doing this or whatever, but I work pretty hard at least keeping the kitchen clean. The rest of the house, I don't know what I'm doing yet. The kitchen, I like to help out and to just make it look tidy. And I also like to make the bed every morning if I can. And there's one day when Ronnie was like, hey, I really appreciate all the things that you've been doing. Like, it's so awesome that you help keep the kitchen clean. And now that there's 3 adults, we feel like we can actually get a handle on the house. Because with the kids, they make a mess in like 2 seconds. Everything's great. And then they just tear through. But she feels more hopeful. And she's like, oh, and I love that you make the beds. And just thank you. And I was like, oh, thank you. I really needed to hear that. Because the only thing I'd really heard for a bit was Five was talking about how it was just, everything was stressful. But he would say like, oh, the stress of you moving in. And used that phrase like a few times to the point where I'm like, does Five not even like me being here? Like, what? Because I had offered a few times to just stay at my house because it's not going to sell until like February or whatever because of all the closing and stuff. But like, I have a couple months where I can just not be here if that would help. Because I knew he didn't mean it out of malice or anything like that, and that it doesn't matter who moved in. It could be Martha Stewart or Oprah, and like, it would still be stressful just because you have to figure out how everything's going to work. And I know it's going to take time to figure out those routines, or like how I accidentally put away some dirty dishes from the dishwasher because I thought they were clean. And they're like, oh yeah, we noticed you like to wash the dishes in the morning, like in the dishwasher. And we like to start the dishwasher in the evening. And I'm like, I literally have no idea when I start it. I just be like, it's full of dirty dishes. And then I would start it. Now I'm just like, if it's full, I'm just going to hand wash dishes and leave it because I don't know what's going on. But yeah, so anyway, back to Five being like, oh, the stress of you moving in, the stress of you moving in. You know, I was kind of like, and then Ronnie said all those nice things and Five said nothing. And I was like, dude, do you, I can just leave. Like, I don't have to, I'm sorry, it's stressful. I'm trying to be helpful. But then later I think I did ask. I was like, yeah, is this okay? And he's like, no, I do like having you here and I do appreciate it. And I was thinking of saying something and I just didn't. So I think it's good to say those things because once in a while that happens to me where like I try to appreciate other people too, because I was in a relationship where I did like 95% of the housework and my then husband like never said thank you, and I'd like make food and do all this stuff. And yeah, and for him it was like, well, you just do the stuff, you don't do stuff for thanks. But I very much like the thank yous, very much do. That like fuels me, and otherwise I like get resentful. And so yeah, I think I need to be better about like asking, but it feels so weird. It feels so weird to be like, hey, please appreciate me. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of like, what kind of why the steering wheel is like so in the way. Normally I like have my phone on the steering wheel, but it's tilted funny now. Anyway, so I feel like that's mostly it. I'm getting a phone call and hopefully it's not messing this up. But yeah, it, you know, a little bit stressful, but we're figuring it out. We're getting more in the flow, and I know it will get better and better as time goes on. And I'm getting more excited about it, about having my new family and yeah, getting the routines down, and yeah, they'll be good. Okay, bye.